So this is what your wreath should look like once you have the netting on it and the sticks, okay? And you want to leave this spot here so you can set your pumpkin in, because he is going to, once he's finished, I know he's top heavy now, and that's okay, don't worry about it. See, he won't sit up, he just keeps rolling over because his eyeballs are too heavy. Don't worry about that, because we're going to put eyeball lights on this wreath, and when we do, we're going to glue the battery packs to the back of the pumpkin, so he's going to be evened out then. But for right now, he's a little bit uneven. So we're going to set this guy in here, okay? And you're going to want to make sure that you have sticks that have branches that go out like this, okay? Because we're going to put the eyeball ornaments, we're going to hang them off of here, okay? That's why it's really important that you get sticks that have little branches sticking out, okay? You want them all over. Glue them all different directions so that you can hang your ornaments from there. All right, now we're going to work on this guy. We're going to add some fake fingernails, which you can also get from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use these as teeth. Okay? We're going to take the fingernail part, and that's going to be shoved up into the top, into the foam. And then it's going to stick out like that. Okay? So you can just turn them around, but the part that would be on the end of your finger, since that's pretty sharp, I figured that would be the best part to shove up into the foam. And you're just going to start shoving them up there, okay? Whatever way you want. How many ever teeth you want to put on this guy is up to you, okay? You can cut them if you want. You can take the fingernail and get a pair of scissors and just mangle up the tooth a little bit and make it misshapen and then stick it in. It's up to you. You do whatever you want to do. It kind of looks better when you do that. So you can leave some regular, you can cut some up, it's up to you. Okay, but we're going to just put a tiny bit of glue on the end of this. Be super careful, because these are tiny and very hard to work with. But you're going to take a little bit of glue, and you're going to shove that up into there, so that way it won't come back out. Okay, so just remember to glue it, and then shove it up in there. And then we're going to paint them. But for right now, that's step one. And I'll be back. Okay, what I have here is a ping pong ball and some red nail polish. And what I'm doing is I'm just dipping the nail polish in, and I'm just letting it pool up on the top of the ping pong ball until it runs down the sides of the eyeball. Try not to get it on the iris, but you want it on the sides of the iris. Okay? Just keep pooling it up until it spills over. It'll go. Just keep putting it on the same spot, and it'll eventually start to make a drip. Okay, we're going to need this later on. There it goes. And make sure you have somewhere to set this where it can dry. Okay, so you're going to need some red paint, some white paint, and some orange paint. The white paint, you're going to paint his teeth white. Okay? Just start painting his teeth white. Once you get all of his teeth white, you're going to take red paint, and you're only going to do half of his mouth, and you're going to go around the outer edge of his mouth with red paint. I tried it with nail polish, but don't do that because it eats away at the foam. Alright, so definitely use red paint. You can use red paint on the eyeball, on the ping pong ball eyeball, but don't use the nail polish on the mouth because it dissolves the foam. I learned that the hard way. Okay, so just keep going with that. White teeth, and then red on just this half side of his mouth. Don't paint his whole mouth red, just one little part. And we're going to make the red spill on the top and give it some drips down and everything, but we're going to have to paint this guy first. Don't worry about it if, you know, I have mine, it's foam got dissolved a little bit. I'm not even going to worry about it. It's no big deal. Okay. If you want to take the eyeballs out to make this easier so they don't keep, so it's not so top heavy, you can do that. By all means, do that. You can just stick the eyeballs in later. No big deal. But you're going to need a sponge brush because we're going to use the orange. He is a pumpkin after all. And he needs his pumpkin color. So just on the middle part of this, where it's like where the deep ridges are on the pumpkin here, you're going to leave those black. You just want to do it in this middle part here and make it orange, okay? And just dab it on. Don't use lots of paint. And you're going to do your whole pumpkin like that. Once we have our whole pumpkin painted, I'll get back to you with the next step. Don't paint the black part around his eyes. You want that to stay black and sunken in looking. So do not paint that orange. Leave that all black. Do not paint inside his nose holes. Leave that black, okay? Okay, two things. You see how the black is still showing through the orange a little bit on the pumpkin? That's what you want. You want it to look like that because you want him to look old and starting to rotten and give him some depth. So if it's coming through a little bit still, don't keep putting the orange on top until it's completely solid orange. You want a little bit of that black to pop through. And a couple spots here, the paint pulled off where I was touching it. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out about it. Just take a little dab and just fill that little spot in with heavy orange. You never know, okay? Just try not to pull off too many spots. And he should start looking like this. I have to finish his mouth and his teeth, but he's coming along. And I'll be with you as soon as I'm done with his mouth and his teeth. And we'll finish this guy. One more thing I want to say is when you're using the foam brush to paint him orange, don't wipe the paint on like this. That's not what you want to do. You want to load your brush, wipe a little off, and then dab it on him. Okay? You're just bouncing the sponge on the pumpkin. You don't want to drag it and pull. You're just bouncing the brush. Okay? Just like that. That's exactly how we want it to look. Okay, so next you're going to take clear nail polish and don't rub it on the eyeball flower, but just take it and let it drip right on the middle. Just keep piling it up there because if you start to rub it too much with the applicator, it's going to rub the design off the eyeball. So just put it on there and just lightly and quickly move it around so you have a shiny eyeball. Do all your eyeballs, including the one that you have with the red paint on. Just the same technique. Dump it on, and just barely brush it. And this is a nail polish remover cap. It sits perfectly in here to dry. Okay. Stuffed his eyeballs back in. He's pretty dry, so now what I'm going to do is squeeze this eyeball very carefully into his mouth on the side that's all bloody. Just like that. There we go. Looks like he's eating the eyeball. Alright. And what I did next was I put some batteries in my wreath, or in my eyeballs, and I just wound them around the wreath, making sure that the battery packs stay down here on the bottom where we're going to put our pumpkin. Okay, so all the eyeballs are on. It's better if you turn them on, that way you can see where you want to position them. And when you get them on, say one's looking the wrong way, you can spin these on the thing to make them turn the right way. Okay, once you got that on, we're going to start to glue on our eyeball flowers. Okay, so that's the next step, is to glue your eyeball flowers on. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put him over here. I'm going to glue on my eyeball flowers, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have all our eyeball flowers on, and I glued a little glue here on the stick. That's why it's a good thing to put a stick a little bit in the middle of the wreath. I make a little notch out for him to sit. Glue on the bottom here, and then here, and he's in there pretty solid. Next, we have his hands that we need to put on. And we're just going to glue them on here, like this, on the sides of him. I was going to stick them in, but I think they're going to be better if we glue them on. And we'll glue them on the sides like this. One here, and then the other one over here. I'm going to glue his hands on, and I'm going to open up my eyeball ornaments last. That's going to be the last thing we're going to do. Okay, so those are the next two things that you need to do. First, work on his hands and getting them situated where you want. After the glue is completely dried, then, you know, start working on your ornaments. You might want to get a piece of string or wire and make a little loop for this, and then hang it up somewhere. It's going to be pretty heavy, so you're going to need, you know, like a thick piece of string or, you know, wire that's not going to break. You might want to take this little thin craft wire and double it over and make it thicker and stronger and make a loop. You know, just take a piece and bend it together so it's double, and then put that through the top, and then work on making that into a loop, which I will do in a minute. And then once you have this on, then hang them up somewhere, and then you can put the ornaments on. It'll be way easier than trying to hold this and then put the ornaments on. Alright, so hands, loop, and then ornaments. Hang them up somewhere and then put the ornaments on. Okay, I just want to show you what's going on in the back. Okay, I tried to get his arms on, but he keeps falling forward. So I'm trying to show you all my mistakes so that it can be way easier for you. Glue the battery packs down here on the bottom instead of on him. Okay, and then what we're going to do to keep him secure is wedge him in between the stick and the bottom corner here. This, he has a little glue here and a little glue here, but you're going to wedge him down as far as you can, right? We'll re-glue if we need to, and touch up any paint if we need to. Then you're going to take some wire. Maybe this glue gun before I burn myself, because I have a tendency of doing that. You're going to take a long piece of wire, and you're going to, right by the pumpkin on the bottom here, can you see? There's a little bit of the wreath sticking out. You're going to take this wire, and you're going to stick it right under there, okay? And then you're going to pull it back to you. You're going to, this is really hard to do one-handed. Okay, so you got that through there. Right, you're going to pull it really long piece, a really long piece of wire. Okay? Make it extra long, because we're going to double this up. You're going to twist this really tightly on the wreath form, right by the battery pack, right by the pumpkin and the stick. Really tight. Okay? So you really don't want it to move that much. Okay? Hold on, I gotta fix this here. And then, so he stays still. Be careful not to break your sticks while you're doing this. This is going to be the hard part. Okay? Push him down. take that piece of wire, stretch it really tightly. Get it underneath the leaf there. And then wrap it around. Wrap it around. So it's wrapped here, it's tied, and you're going to pull it so that it's two pieces. See, there's two pieces of wire here. You're going to pull them together as one strong piece. And you're going to pull as tightly as you can. While holding on to the pumpkin and pushing them down. It's a little bit annoying, but use your body to help you push them down and hold it tight. Like I have it against me. I have it against me and I'm holding it tight. Be careful, don't break your sticks. And then pull. Here is our final product. Our crazy looking eyeball wreath. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, click, subscribe, share, comment down below. Tell me if you have ever eaten an eyeball. I've never eaten an eyeball. I've eaten brains. I've eaten tongue, but never an eyeball. Alright guys, thank you guys. Love you. See you next time. As I was looking at my project, I did not like the eyeballs that were in it. So I took those out and I put different squishy eyeballs in by simply sticking a piece of floral wire in the bottom of the eyeball and then sticking that into the foam. So I took the eyeball and I just stuck the wire up inside the eyeball and then cut it so that there wasn't a long piece of wire hanging out the bottom, and shoved it into the foam in the pumpkin. It was really easy to switch out the eyeballs. So if you don't like the eyeballs, you can do the same. I think it looks a little bit better with one eyeball and with the smaller eyeball. I like it a lot better. Also, I shoved one of these little lights up in there. When you want to turn it off, you're going to have to stick your hands in his mouth and in his eye socket and just flip the switch and then turn it off and on. And I'll show you. I think it's still working yet. I'll show you what it looks like in the dark. I think it looks a lot better.